our world and beyond. Space, in partnership with the European Space Agency.
Everything began 13 billion years ago with a Big Bang. Our program Space reaches back just 4 years and is celebrating its 100th edition. Pushing back the boundaries of knowledge, science and dreams come together in an extraordinary journey to the edge of the imagination. The fundamental questions are always there. Questions about our origins, about evolution. Science is looking for answers, and space reports the debates. The universe we know and our immediate environment are in constant flux. The mechanisms are difficult to understand because each new explanation leads to a flurry of new questions. But why do we even want to know the answers?
If we were content, I think we'd still be sitting in the trees eating bananas, because I'm sure life was perfect then. I mean, there was no reason to climb out of the trees, right? Except that someone was curious and thought, wonder what it's like on the ground, and maybe I could walk on 2 legs instead of 4. Wow, when I walk on 2, I can sort of run fast and I can catch things, and you know. So I think that's somehow just part of being.
Things seem to fall into place, but it's taken centuries to know what we know now, and there's still much more to discover.
It was nice to meet
You just push the button and I talk.
Trying to understand the universe and conquer space means we must try to get to grips with difficult, seemingly impossible questions and issues.
White balance.
In the corridors of space, there are all sorts of experts. Anja Andersen's a renowned Danish astrophysicist who we met in the Botanic Gardens in Heidelberg in Germany. But sometimes interviewing scientists can feel like a close encounter of the third kind.
If you're out in the rain, should you then actually run through the rain? Will you then get less wet than if you walk very slowly? Because if you walk slowly, you only have the rain coming down straight to you. If you run, it will also hit your front. So how will you get the least wet? And all kind of weird things like that, which makes at least my children think I'm a little bit strange, right? But I think that's the nature of a scientist, that there's, you know, no question is too small for us to actually discuss or make a theory about. I mean, because we really want to find out, how does things work?
On étudie les cortèges planétaires.
And it goes from a mirror to another.
Et ensuite pour essayer de revenir
until it goes to the satellite.
We cannot relate that to any particular climate change.
Bastava allungarlo di 2 byte.
Not that one.
Di pochi bit.
C'est un nouveau domaine, tout est à faire.
Scientists are very much children in that respect, because we always play. We have somehow managed to keep being curious, and sometimes we discuss things which are way out of our research field.
The experts know a sense of humour is useful and don't hesitate to amuse themselves.
Maybe one of these days we will start studying teleportation.
Humour, but also visions which have been made real by the successes of the European Space Agency. For example, the lunar mission SMART. Envisat, the biggest terrestrial observation satellite in the world. Or Cassini-Huygens and its discoveries around Saturn. But, say the skeptics, it costs too much.
The reason space is a good investment is because that when you have to send something into space, it's really hard, it's really difficult. It needs much novel technology, and it needs lots of clever scientists who can think out how to make the mission happen and how to make things work. And all this technological development actually has a good spin-off of things that's benefit for us on Earth. I mean, things that's going to be part of our everyday life in the future, which is only developed because we want to go to space, because space is so hard to get to that we pushes technology to the limit.
Both technology and those who use it are stretched in the quest for knowledge. Harnessing the incredible powers of the universe is no easy job. The men and women who work on the front line take any number of risks. But space research and exploration could have another benefit, one that's less immediately visible.
Space should be the one thing that we collaborate on, because then we will, you know, it could be maybe the big peace project, a bit like I see the European Union as the big peace project, right? I mean, with the European Union, we are so busy trying to work together that we don't have too much time to actually go to war together. And maybe space could be that we collaborate to get things into space. And that's going to keep us so busy that we don't have time to disagree about the little things.
Sometimes the clouds obscure the horizon because things are not always linear, even for the experts. Moments of doubt often precede action. That's just human. Sometimes research can feel like finding your way through the fog. There's much to do. Adversity and doubt are all around. In order to arrive at a conclusion, some say you must define and rationalize, rather like a machine.
To get all this coordinated, you need an overall sort of agency that can sort of coordinate the effort and also tell the different partners involved who is good at what, right? Because you cannot, as an individual partner, necessarily know all the other partners. So you need somewhere to go to say, okay, we're good at this, but we need an expert on that, and who can actually make the connection so that people can find each other and develop the missions that they want to develop.
Institutions such as the ESA, which coordinate and harmonise the efforts of 18 countries, act both as a rallying point and catalyst. In space science, theory and practice can become intertwined, melting into each other, making the joke of Nobel Prize winner Niels Bohr, when a theory is crazy, will it be crazy enough to stand a chance of being correct? Seem quite sensible.
Who hasn't been standing out on a dark night and looking up to the sky at the stars, thinking how many stars are out there, how many stars have planets like Earth, on how many of these planets is there someone like me looking up, thinking about whether there's someone like me looking up.
It's thought our sun will burn itself out in some 5 billion years, engulfing its own system and turning into a dwarf star. Space, the programme, is unlikely to be around for that story, though.